There's a woman I think about often. Her name is Linda. She's 56, works part-time at a local library, and she messaged me one night at 2 a.m. She wrote, "Doc, I barely eat after 5 p.m. I've cut out sugar, I walk every day, but my belly just won't budge. What am I doing wrong?" And I'll be honest with you, Linda's story isn't rare. In fact, it might be your story too. You're doing the right things, eating less, maybe skipping dinner, staying active, but somehow the weight clings tighter, especially around your middle. And it gets more frustrating after 50, when what used to work just doesn't anymore. But what if I told you there's one window of time, between 5 p.m. and bedtime, that quietly sabotages everything you do during the day? And most people, they have no clue it's happening. Because fat burning doesn't just depend on calories or willpower, it depends on timing, hormones, and your circadian rhythm. Once you understand what's really going on in the evening hours, you'll stop fighting your body and start working with it. So let me walk you through it. Let's start with why fat burning shuts down after 5 p.m. and how you can stop that from happening. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but your body just isn't responding the way it used to? When was the last time you woke up and actually felt lighter, without trying so hard?
The hidden danger of late dinners. Let's talk about something that sounds harmless, but could be quietly sabotaging your weight loss every single night. Late dinners. Most people don't think twice about eating at 8 or even 9 p.m., especially after a long day of work or taking care of the family. But if you're over 40, and especially over 50, your body doesn't handle that evening meal the same way it did when you were 25. You see, as the sun goes down, your metabolism slows down too. It's not your fault, it's just how your circadian rhythm works. This internal clock controls everything from hormone levels to digestion, and when you eat late at night, it sends the wrong signal to your body. Instead of preparing to rest, repair, and burn fat, your system kicks into storage mode. One study found that people who ate the same meal at 10 p.m. burned 10% less fat overnight compared to those who ate at 6 p.m., even though they consumed the exact same food. Not only that, but their blood sugar levels were 15 to 20 points higher, and cortisol, your stress hormone, spiked by 50% just from eating later in the evening. Let me paint a picture. Imagine two people, Joe and Mark. They're both 55, both trying to lose weight. Joe finishes dinner around 6 p.m. Grilled salmon, a side of veggies, maybe a little avocado. He goes for a short walk, relaxes, and heads to bed around 10. Mark, on the other hand, skips lunch because he's busy. By the time he gets home at 8:30, he's starving, so he eats a huge pasta dinner, maybe has a glass of wine, and sits on the couch to unwind. Both men are putting in effort, but Joe's body is in fat-burning mode while he sleeps, and Mark's body is still working overtime to process that late-night overload. One wakes up lighter and rested, the other wakes up bloated and craving carbs. This isn't about perfection, it's about rhythm. When you eat earlier, you give your body time to process food, stabilize blood sugar, and shift into fat burning while you sleep. It's a small change with a big payoff. So if you've been eating dinner close to bedtime or skipping meals during the day and overcompensating at night, it's not just a bad habit, it's a hidden trap. The good news? You can turn it around. Fast. Start by moving dinner just 30 minutes earlier this week. Pay attention to how you feel the next morning. Lighter, clearer, and maybe even less hungry. That's your body thanking you. And speaking of dinner, let's make sure that what's on your plate is helping you burn fat, not store it. Because the next step is about designing a fat-burning dinner the right way. Let's dive into how to build that plate. What if your body isn't broken? It's just confused by the timing. If your evenings have...
Build a fat-burning dinner plate, not a fat-storing one.
Now that we've talked about when to eat dinner, let's talk about what should actually be on your plate. Because not all dinners are created equal. And for those of us over 40, the way we build that last meal of the day can mean the difference between burning fat while we sleep or storing it all night long. I tell my patients this all the time. You don't need to eat less, you need to eat smarter. And one of the smartest shifts you can make is thinking about your meals in terms of protein, fat, and fiber, instead of just calories or carbs. Why? Because those three work together to stabilize blood sugar, lower insulin, and keep you full for hours. That's the recipe your body needs if you want to burn fat, especially overnight. Let me give you an example. One of my patients, David, he's 61, used to eat a typical light dinner, a bowl of cereal or a sandwich. He thought he was being healthy, but he'd wake up hungry, groggy, and stuck at the same weight for months. Once we rebuilt his dinner to include a fist-sized portion of grilled chicken, a big handful of steamed broccoli, and a drizzle of olive oil, everything changed. Within 2 weeks, he was sleeping better, waking up more energized, and without cutting calories, he started losing belly fat. That's what a fat-burning dinner looks like. A lean protein the size of your palm, like grilled fish, turkey, or eggs, 2 to 3 big handfuls of non-starchy vegetables, think leafy greens, cauliflower, cucumbers, bell peppers, and a source of healthy fat, a spoon of avocado, olive oil, or even a small handful of raw nuts. It's simple, satisfying, and it works with your hormones, not against them. Here's another trick I use. I stop thinking in terms of carbs and start thinking in terms of fiber. Broccoli and bread are both technically carbs, but only one helps stabilize your blood sugar and keeps your metabolism humming. Aim for carbs that still have their fiber intact. Beans, lentils, whole vegetables, maybe some quinoa or barley if you tolerate grains well. And don't worry, you don't have to be perfect. The goal is progress. Every time you choose a fiber-rich veggie over a white roll or sugary sauce, you're giving your body a little nudge toward fat-burning mode. It adds up, and if you've been told that low carb means cutting out all these foods, that's a myth. It's not about removing all carbs. It's about choosing the right ones that feed your metabolism instead of fighting it. So now you know what to put on your plate, but what about the foods that sneak in and undo all your hard work? In the next part, we'll uncover the crap foods, yes, that's the acronym, that silently stall your fat loss every night. Let's clean up that plate even more. When you look at your plate at night, is it helping your body heal or making it work harder? Could one small shift, just changing what's on your dinner plate, make your mornings feel completely different? The crap foods that keep you fat at night. Now let's talk about the foods that might look innocent, some even marketed as healthy, but are quietly keeping you stuck. I call them the crap foods. And no, that's not just an insult. It's an acronym, C-R-A-P. And once you learn it, you'll never look at your pantry the same way again. These are the foods that spike your insulin, inflame your body, disrupt your sleep, and flip your fat-burning switch off. And the worst part? Most people eat them every single night without realizing the damage they're doing. C stands for processed carbohydrates. Things like white bread, pasta, rice, pastries, sweet sauces, and most breakfast cereals. These are stripped of fiber and nutrients, which means they hit your bloodstream fast, spike your blood sugar, and push your body straight into fat-storing mode. R is for rancid oils, like canola, soybean, and corn oil. These are found in nearly every packaged snack, frozen dinner, and bottled dressing. They're inflammatory, and they interfere with your metabolism. A stands for artificial ingredients. This includes fake sweeteners like sucralose, food dyes, preservatives, and anything labeled sugar-free or low-fat. That sounds too good to be true. Finally, P stands for processed proteins. Think
Things like breaded chicken patties, hot dogs, deli meats filled with additives. These proteins are cheap, highly refined, and burden your liver instead of supporting muscle repair. Let me tell you about Jim, a 63-year-old retired teacher who came to me frustrated. He was eating what he thought was a light dinner, turkey sandwich on white bread with low-fat mayo and a diet soda. Classic low-calorie, right? But it was full of crap, processed bread, artificial sweeteners, bad oils, and deli meat packed with preservatives. We made one simple change. Swap the sandwich for grilled chicken with roasted veggies and olive oil. Within 3 weeks, his waistline started shrinking and his nighttime acid reflux disappeared. Same calories, completely different effect on his metabolism. The truth is, crap foods don't just keep you overweight. They keep you inflamed, tired, and constantly craving more. They confuse your hunger signals, make it harder to sleep, and sabotage your body's ability to recover at night. But here's the good news. Once you recognize these ingredients, you can start swapping them out, one meal at a time. Choose real food over fake food. Choose ingredients your grandmother would recognize, not something that sounds like it came from a chemistry lab. Now that you know what to avoid, let's turn the tables. In the next part, I'll show you a powerful, science-backed strategy that helps people over 40 burn more fat, even while they sleep, just by changing when they eat. It's called night fasting, and it might be the easiest habit you've never tried. Let's get into it. How many healthy foods in your kitchen might actually be keeping you stuck? If your food label has ingredients you can't pronounce, is your body really designed to process them? Night fasting, the secret weapon for over 40 fat loss. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked fat-burning tools for people over 40. And it has nothing to do with what you eat. It's about when you stop eating. I call it night fasting, and it's not extreme, it's not trendy, it's just aligned with how your body is designed to work. The idea is simple. You finish your last meal earlier in the day and give your body a longer break from food overnight. No snacking, no dessert at 9 p.m., no, just a little something before bed. That break allows your insulin levels to drop, your digestion to rest, and your body to shift into full fat burning and repair mode, right when it needs to most. Let me tell you about Carol. She's 59, a retired nurse, and she used to snack all the way until bedtime, thinking a little yogurt or a few crackers wasn't a big deal. She felt stuck, low energy, stubborn belly fat, and waking up groggy even after a full night's sleep. When she tried night fasting, just moving dinner earlier to 5:30 and cutting out post-dinner snacks, she didn't expect much. But after 2 weeks, she was sleeping better, waking up lighter, and her cravings in the morning were gone. She told me, "I didn't realize how much better my body could feel just by not eating." There's real science behind this. In one study, people who ate all their meals between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. lost significantly more fat than those eating later, even though both groups consumed the exact same calories. That's because eating earlier in the day supports your natural hormone rhythms. Insulin is more sensitive in the morning, meaning your body processes food more efficiently. At night, insulin resistance increases, so even healthy foods are more likely to be stored as fat. Now don't worry, you don't have to jump straight to eating dinner at 2 p.m. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. You can start small. Move your last meal 30 minutes earlier every few days. If you normally eat at 8 p.m., aim for 7:30, then 7. Eventually, you might land around 5:30 or 6 p.m., and that's a sweet spot for most people over 40. The key is consistency. Your body thrives on rhythm, and night fasting reinforces that rhythm every single evening. Think of night fasting as a gift to your future self. You're not starving. You're simply giving your body the quiet it needs to reset, repair, and burn what it's been holding on to for years. And once that window closes, your next best move isn't another workout or another meal. It's something far simpler. It's movement. In the next part, I'll show you the powerful 5-minute habit you can do right after dinner to supercharge everything we've just talked about. Let's walk through it together. What if the most powerful fat-burning strategy isn't what you eat, but when you stop eating? Have you ever given your body a full 12 to 14 hours overnight to rest and noticed how it feels the next day? Move after you eat.
The 5-minute habit that melts belly fat. Now here's a small evening habit that packs a surprisingly big punch. Walking after dinner. Not a workout, not a jog. Just 5 to 15 minutes of simple movement. It sounds almost too easy. But for people over 40, especially anyone struggling with belly fat, this one change can shift your metabolism in the right direction faster than most diets or supplements ever could. You see, after you eat, your blood sugar naturally rises. If you stay seated, watching TV, scrolling on your phone, your muscles don't help absorb that sugar, so more of it gets stored as fat, especially around your midsection. But when you move, even just a little, your muscles act like a sponge. They soak up that glucose and use it for energy instead of letting it get tucked away as body fat. I'll never forget Tom, a 64-year-old former firefighter. He wasn't into gym workouts, hated dieting, and told me flat out, "Doc, I'm not giving up my steak dinner." I said, "Okay, then let's just add one thing. Walk for 10 minutes right after you eat." That's it. No food changes, no treadmill, no gym. He walked around his block every evening, sometimes with his dog, sometimes with his wife. A month later, his blood sugar was down, his pants fit better, and he was sleeping like a rock. That tiny walk helped his body switch into fat-burning mode and kept it there all night long. And it's not just anecdotal. Studies show that a 2 to 5 minute walk after meals can significantly reduce blood sugar spikes. Evening movement in particular improves insulin sensitivity by up to 25% more than morning exercise. That means your body handles food better, stores less fat, and burns more efficiently, just from walking after you eat. No sweating, no equipment, no stress, just motion. If walking isn't your thing, that's okay. You can march in place, stretch, do a few light chores, anything that gets your body out of sitting mode. But if you can make walking a regular post-dinner ritual, it becomes more than just a health tip. It becomes a lifestyle. It clears your mind, reduces evening cravings, and sends a signal to your body. We're done eating, now it's time to move and heal. The best part? This tiny habit fits seamlessly into your evening routine. And once you've moved your body, the next challenge is this: keeping it that way. Because for many people, the biggest fat loss sabotager sneaks in after dinner when the cravings hit. So in the next part, I'll show you how to silence those cravings before they start and keep your fat-burning momentum going strong all the way until morning. Let's go. What if 5 minutes tonight could undo 5 years of bad habits? How would your sleep feel if you simply took a short walk instead of collapsing on the couch? Kill late-night cravings without killing your progress. Even after a healthy dinner and a short evening walk, there's one more challenge waiting around the corner. And it's the one that catches most people off guard. Late-night cravings. You've probably felt it. You're winding down for the night, the house is quiet, and suddenly, the urge hits. Something salty, something sweet, maybe just a little bite. The problem is that little bite often opens the floodgates. And at that hour, your body is no longer ready to digest and burn. It's ready to rest. And what you eat now is more likely to be stored as fat, disrupt your sleep, and undo the progress you made all day. But let me be clear. Cravings aren't a sign of weakness. They're a signal. Sometimes they show up because you didn't eat enough protein or fiber during the day. Other times, it's emotional. Stress, boredom, habit. And if you're over 40, those signals can get stronger because your hunger and fullness hormones, leptin and ghrelin, don't always work like they used to. That's why it's so important to build a few strategies in place to help you stay on track without feeling deprived. One of my favorite tools? Close the kitchen. Literally. After dinner, I tell people to turn off the lights, clear the counters, and even say it out loud. Kitchen's closed. This creates a mental and visual boundary that tells your brain, we're done for the night. You can even take it a step further and brush your teeth right after dinner. That minty fresh feeling sends a clear signal to your body.
And trust me, nothing tastes great right after toothpaste. Still, if cravings sneak in, it helps to have a few go-to options that won't spike your blood sugar or sabotage your fat loss. Some of my favorites? A handful of raw nuts, almonds, pistachios, or pumpkin seeds, a spoonful of chia seed pudding, a glass of lemon water, even cucumber slices, which are 96% water, can give you that satisfying crunch without adding calories. These aren't just healthy swaps, they're tools that keep you calm, full, and in control. I remember Susan, a 62-year-old artist who struggled with late-night snacking for years. Her routine used to be popcorn, cookies, sometimes wine. We switched it out for chia water and a handful of salted pumpkin seeds. Within weeks, she noticed she was sleeping better and waking up without that heavy, groggy feeling. She didn't feel restricted, she just felt more in charge. And that's the whole point. Late-night eating doesn't have to be a trap. It can become a turning point. Once you manage cravings with intention, your body can finally rest, reset, and repair overnight. And speaking of rest, in the final part of this video, I'll show you how to turn your sleep itself into a power. Hunger? Or is it just your body asking for comfort? What would happen if you closed the kitchen and kept a promise to your future self instead? The final hour, how sleep becomes your superpower. Now we've come to the most underrated part of fat loss: sleep. Not just the number of hours, but the quality of your sleep, and especially that last hour before bed. Because what you do during that final stretch doesn't just affect how fast you fall asleep. It determines how deeply you rest, how your hormones function, and whether your body burns fat or clings to it through the night. For people over 40, sleep isn't a luxury. It's a fat-burning superpower. And the good news? You have way more control over it than you might think. Let me walk you through what's really happening. As the sun sets, your body starts releasing melatonin, the hormone that signals sleep. But if you're staring at bright screens, sitting under harsh lights, or catching up on stressful news, melatonin production gets delayed. And that throws off your entire metabolic rhythm. One study showed that just 3 hours of evening light exposure can raise blood sugar by 14 points and increase insulin resistance by nearly 20%. That means your body's ability to burn fat during sleep drops dramatically, even if you're doing everything else right. I worked with Daniel, a 58-year-old accountant who did all the right things: ate early, walked after dinner, managed cravings, but still felt tired and stuck. It wasn't until we fixed his pre-bed routine that things started to click. We dimmed his lights after 8 p.m., shut off screens by 9, and set his bedroom temperature to 66 degrees. We added magnesium before bed to help him relax and support his metabolism overnight. Within 10 days, he said he was falling asleep faster, waking up with more energy, and finally seeing the scale move again. He didn't diet harder, he just slept smarter. So how do you turn your final hour into a fat-burning setup? Start by creating a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. The body loves rhythm. Keep your room cool and as dark as possible. Light-blocking curtains can make a huge difference. Avoid caffeine or alcohol late in the day, as they interfere with deep sleep stages. And if your mind is busy, wind down with a calming ritual. A warm shower, a few pages of a book, or gentle stretching. Think of it like landing a plane. You don't slam into sleep, you ease into it. Here's the bottom line. Fat loss doesn't just happen in the kitchen or the gym, it happens while you sleep. And by protecting that final hour before bed, you give your body everything it needs to rest, recover, and release what it no longer needs to hold on to. Now you're ready. You've learned how to fuel your evening, avoid hidden traps, move with purpose, crush cravings, and sleep to reset your metabolism. But what about tomorrow morning? Because how you start your day can either build on this momentum or erase it completely. So in the next video, I'll show you how I'd start the morning if I needed to drop 30 pounds fast. See you there. What? If fat loss doesn't start with another workout, but with a better night's rest?
What would your body let go of if it finally felt safe enough to rest deeply?
So here's what I hope you take away from this. The hours after 5 p.m. are not just the end of your day. They're the beginning of your body's most powerful healing and fat-burning window. And whether you realize it or not, the choices you make in the evening can either unlock that potential or shut it down completely. I've seen it over and over again. People in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, who thought their metabolism was broken. But once they shifted just a few simple habits after dinner, everything changed. They slept better, they woke up lighter, their blood sugar stabilized, their cravings faded. Not because they worked harder, but because they worked with their body instead of against it. The truth is, weight loss after 40 isn't about punishment or restriction. It's about rhythm, timing, and treating your body with the respect it deserves. Maybe tonight you decide to close the kitchen early. Maybe you go for that short walk. Maybe you dim the lights and give yourself the gift of rest. Those little choices add up, and they send a message to your body that it's safe to let go of what it's been holding on to. Because your body wants to heal. It's just waiting for the right signals. Now, if this video felt like a light bulb moment for you, if you saw yourself in the stories, or realized you've been doing some of these things without knowing the impact, then don't stop here. Because the way you start your next day is just as important as how you end this one. In my next video, I'll walk you through the exact morning routine I'd follow if I needed to lose 30 pounds in a sustainable, healthy way. Starting from the moment you open your eyes to the first thing you put on your plate. It's simple, science-backed, and it's helped thousands of people reset their health. So if you're ready to keep this momentum going, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Remember, your health is your greatest asset. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you clear, science-backed information on obesity, weight control, and living your healthiest life, so you can take charge of your future, starting today. Thanks for watching. Remember, your health is your greatest asset. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you clear, science-backed information on obesity, weight control, and living your healthiest life, so you can take charge of your future, starting today.